I spent 23 years being invisible at work, until the day my boss called me stupid in front of everyone, and I decided to become unforgettable. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like angry wasps as I stood in the conference room, my hands trembling against the folder pressed to my chest. 20 faces stared at me, some pitying, some embarrassed, most just relieved it wasn't them. "Are you even listening to me, Janet?" Richard's voice was sharp enough to cut glass. His face had gone that particular shade of red that meant he was past anger and into something crueler. "I asked you a simple question. Simple. Can you handle that, or is that too much for your—" He paused, looking around the room like he was performing for an audience, limited skill set. I opened my mouth, closed it. The words I wanted to say died somewhere between my chest and my throat. "Stupid," he said, enunciating each syllable like he was savoring them. "Absolutely stupid. You know what the best part is? You're replaceable. Completely, entirely replaceable. There are 100 Janets out there who could do your job. Hell, my intern could do it better." Someone coughed. A chair squeaked. The air conditioning kicked on with a mechanical groan. I said nothing, but I remembered every single word. "My name is Janet Marie Hartwell, and I'm 53 years old. I'm telling you this story today because I need you to understand something. The moment you think you've lost everything is sometimes the moment you finally start winning. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this really began, not in that conference room, but 23 years earlier, in a cramped apartment in Des Moines, Iowa, where I was trying to figure out how to make $17 stretch until Friday. I was 30 when I started at Meridian Marketing, fresh off a divorce that had left me with a 7-year-old daughter, a beat-up Honda Civic, and exactly $3,000 in savings. My ex-husband, Danny, had taken the house, the decent car, and apparently his secretary to Cancun. The courts gave me every other weekend and a child support check that barely covered Emily's school lunches. The job at Meridian wasn't glamorous. I was hired as an administrative assistant, which is a fancy way of saying I did everything no one else wanted to do. I scheduled meetings, ordered office supplies, picked up dry cleaning for executives who couldn't be bothered, and smiled when I wanted to scream. But it was steady. It had health insurance, and Emily needed braces. Richard Cortland was 35 then, newly promoted to department head, and the kind of man who wore his ambition like cologne, too much, too obvious. He had that Kennedy-esque charm when he wanted something from you, all white teeth and firm handshakes. But I learned quickly that charm had an expiration date. "Janet, I need the Morrison files." "Janet, why isn't the copier working?" "Janet, did you order lunch? I specifically said no onions. How hard is no onions?" I took it all. I smiled, apologized, fixed things. Because that's what you do when you're 30 and scared, and your daughter needs school supplies and you can't afford to make waves. The years blurred together like highway lines at night. Emily grew up in the margins of my exhaustion. Recitals I almost missed, parent-teacher conferences I rushed to, bedtime stories I mumbled through while fighting sleep. I missed her first boyfriend, her driving test, her junior prom, because I was always at the office, always staying late, always proving I was valuable enough to keep. I watched younger employees get promoted around me. Men who started after me became my supervisors. Women 10 years younger leapfrogged into management, while I was still ordering printer paper and troubleshooting the conference room projector. "You're so good at what you do," Richard would say, which I eventually learned was code for, "I need you right where you are." By the time I was 50, I'd been at Meridian for 20 years. Emily had graduated college, state school, not the private university she'd wanted, because that's what we could afford even with loans. She'd moved to Seattle for a tech job, and I was proud, but God, I missed her. My apartment was the same one I'd moved into when I was 30. The Honda had been replaced by a slightly newer Honda. I'd been on 4 dates in 20 years, and none of them had progressed past awkward coffee. This was my life, small, contained, survivable. And then the market analysis project happened. It was March when Richard called me into his office. The cherry blossoms were starting to bloom outside. I remember because I'd been looking forward to my lunch break, to sitting in the little park across the street and just breathing for 20 minutes. "Janet, I need you to do something for me." He was leaning back in his leather chair, the expensive one he'd expensed to the company, with his hands folded behind his head like a king on a throne. "Of course," I said, "because what else do you say after 20 years of conditioning?" "I need market analysis for the Stanton account. Comprehensive. Demographics, competitor research, projected trends for the next 5 years. Think you can handle that?" I blinked. That's usually a job for the research team." "Well, I'm asking you." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You've been here long enough. Time to show some initiative, right? Prove you're more than just an admin." Something twisted in my stomach. This wasn't opportunity. This was something else. "When do you need it?" "End of the week." "Richard, that's 3 days." "Is that a problem?" His voice had gone cold. "Because if you can't handle it, I can ask someone else. Someone who's actually interested in advancing their career." I took the assignment. I stayed at the office until midnight for 3 days straight. I called Emily once, and she could hear the exhaustion in my voice. "Mom, are you okay?" "I'm fine, honey. Just a big project." "You're always doing big projects for that jerk." "Emily." "I'm serious. When was the last time he even thanked you?" I couldn't remember. I finished the analysis at 2 a.m. on Friday morning, sitting in the break room with my 3rd cup of burnt coffee and a granola bar I'd found in my desk drawer. 67 pages of research, charts, projections, and strategic recommendations. It was good. No, it was excellent. It was the kind of work that could land a major client. I printed it, put it in a folder, and left it on Richard's desk with a note. As requested, Janet. Monday morning, I got to the office at 7:30 like always. Made coffee, checked emails, watered the plants in the lobby because no one else ever did. At 9, Richard's assistant, a 24-year-old named Brittany with perfect highlights, stopped by my desk. "Richard wants to see you in the conference room, 10 o'clock. "What's it about?" She shrugged, already looking at her phone. "Some presentation thing." The conference room was full when I arrived. The entire department, 23 people, all seated around the long table. Richard stood at the head, my folder open in front of him, the projector showing my charts on the screen behind him. "Janet, glad you could join us." He gestured to an empty chair near the door. "Please sit." I sat, confused. He'd never invited me to department meetings before. "So," Richard began, clicking to the next slide, my demographic breakdown. "I've been working on the Stanton account analysis, and I wanted to share some preliminary findings with the team." My heart stopped. "I've been working on it." He continued presenting. My words, my research, my 3 sleepless nights, delivered in his confident voice like they'd sprung fully formed from his own mind. No one looked at me. Or maybe they did and I couldn't see them through the tunnel vision, through the roaring in my ears. He got to slide 43, a projection model I'd built from scratch, and someone asked a question. "Richard, this section here about the millennial market segment. Can you explain the methodology?" He paused, looked at the slide, looked at the room. "Janet," he said, and his voice had changed. "Why don't you explain this section since you compiled the data?" Compiled, like I'd just typed things into a spreadsheet like a machine. I stood. My legs felt disconnected from my body. The methodology uses a combination of census data, consumer behavior studies, and... "Speak up, please. Some of us can't hear you." I cleared my throat, raising my voice. The methodology combines census data with... "Is this adjusted for seasonal variation?" That was Marcus, one of the senior analysts. He was younger than me by 15 years, but had been my supervisor for 3. "Yes, the model accounts for." "What about geographic clustering?" "It's weighted by." "Did you factor in digital marketing spend ratios?" The questions came faster. I answered each one, but I could feel something building in the room, some collective judgment forming. Richard stood silent, arms crossed, watching. Finally, I finished explaining the projection model. The room was quiet. Richard sighed, loudly. "Janet, I'm going to be honest with you." He walked around the table, getting closer. Did you even understand the assignment? Because this is supposed to be market analysis, not a college statistics project. The Stanton account is worth $2 million. $2 million. And you're giving me scatter plots and demographic tables. But that's what market analysis. Are you even listening to me? And that's when we arrived at the moment I told you about at the beginning. The fluorescent lights, the 20 faces, the word stupid hanging in the air like poison. I stood there, my file folder pressed to my chest, and I said nothing. But I remembered every word. I went back to my desk in a fog, logged into my computer, stared at my email inbox without seeing anything. At lunch, I didn't go to the park. I sat in my car in the parking garage and cried for 20 minutes. Then I fixed my makeup, ate a protein bar, and went back to work. That night, Emily called. "Mom, you sound weird. What happened?" And I told her everything. There was a long silence on the other end. Then, Mom, you need to quit." "I can't just quit. I need the insurance, the steady paycheck." "You've been there for 23 years. 23, and he treats you like garbage." "Emily, it's not that simple." "Yes, it is. You're always making excuses for why you can't leave, why you can't do better, why you have to just take it. You taught me to stand up for myself. Why can't you do that?" Because I was tired. Because I was 53 and starting over felt impossible. Because I'd spent so long being invisible that I'd forgotten what it felt like to be seen. But I didn't say any of that. I just said, "I'll think about it, honey." "Promise me." "I promise." I didn't quit, not right away. But something had shifted. I started noticing things I'd trained myself not to see. Like how Richard took credit for the Stanton analysis and landed the account. How he got a bonus. How he celebrated at the department dinner at Maggiano's, the one I wasn't invited to, even though I'd done the work. Like how my salary had barely moved in a decade, while people half my age were making more than me. Like how my performance reviews always said, meets expectations, but never exceeds, no matter how much I gave. I started keeping a record. Every project I worked on, every extra hour, every idea I contributed that ended up in someone else's PowerPoint. And then, one Saturday morning in April, I was cleaning out my home office, something I'd been putting off for years, and I found an old file folder from business school. I'd gone to night school when Emily was in elementary school, taking classes after she went to bed, studying while she slept. It had taken me 6 years to finish my MBA because I could only afford 1 or 2 classes a semester. But I'd done it. I'd graduated with a 3.8 GPA and a specialization in marketing analytics. And I'd never used it. Not really, because I'd been too busy being everyone's assistant to be my own person. I sat on the floor of my office, surrounded by old textbooks and case studies, and I made a decision. I started my company on a Sunday. Not with fanfare or a business plan, just with a website built on a free template and a LinkedIn profile that actually listed my real skills instead of administrative professional. I called it Hartwell Analytics. For the first month, nothing happened. I worked my regular job, came home, and spent my evenings cold emailing small businesses, offering market analysis and strategic consulting at rates a fraction of what big firms charged. I got my first client in May, a local boutique that wanted to understand their customer base. I charged them $800 and spent 30 hours on it, which meant I'd made about $26 an hour, less than I made at Meridian. But it was mine. Word of mouth is slow, but it's real. The boutique owner referred me to her husband's restaurant. The restaurant owner referred me to his dentist. The dentist referred me to her son's startup. By July, I was making an extra $1,000 a month. By September 2000. By December, I was matching my Meridian salary. I kept working at the office. I kept smiling at Richard's demands. I kept being invisible. But every evening, I went home and built something else. Janet, I need you to work Christmas Eve. It was December 20th. I was at my desk, eating a sad turkey sandwich and looking at a contract proposal for a client who wanted comprehensive market positioning analysis. Christmas Eve, I repeated. Just for a few hours, morning. We have a presentation for the Hallbrook account on the 26th, and I need materials prepared. I looked at him, really looked at him, his expensive suit, his Rolex, his complete and total certainty that I would say yes. No, I said. He blinked. Excuse me. No, I'm not working Christmas Eve. I'm spending it with my daughter. Janet, this is important. So is my family. His face did that thing, that red thing. You realize I can have your desk cleaned out by end of day if I want. Then do it. The words were out before I could stop them, but I didn't want to stop them. Richard stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Are you seriously giving me attitude right now? After everything he caught himself. After everything this company has done for you. What exactly has this company done for me, Richard? Given you a job, stability, opportunity. Opportunity, I laughed, and it felt like something breaking open. I've been here 23 years, 23, and I'm still answering phones and ordering your lunch. That's not opportunity, that's convenient. If you're unhappy, there's the door. You know what? You're right. I opened my desk drawer, took out the few personal items I kept there, a framed photo of Emily, a coffee mug she'd given me that said "World's Best Mom," a lipstick. Janet, I resign, effective immediately. You can't be serious. You're throwing away 23 years over Christmas Eve. No, I said, slinging my purse over my shoulder. I'm saving myself from wasting 24. Emily screamed when I told her, a happy scream. Mom, oh my God, finally. I'm terrified, I admitted. We were on FaceTime, and I was sitting in my car in the grocery store parking lot because I couldn't face my empty apartment yet. You have your company, she said firmly. You have clients, you have experience. You're going to be fine, better than fine. I don't have health insurance anymore. So get it on the marketplace. Mom, stop making excuses. You did it. You actually did it. She was right. I had done it. And I was absolutely terrified. The first 6 months were brutal. I lived off savings and ramen noodles. I took every client I could get, no matter how small. I worked 16-hour days from my apartment, hunched over my laptop, drinking cheap coffee and pretending I wasn't scared out of my mind. But the work was good, really good, and clients noticed. I landed a contract with a regional healthcare provider in March, a retail chain in May, a tech startup in July. By September, I had to hire my first employee, a recent graduate named Maya who was brilliant and hungry and reminded me of myself at 30, except she wasn't going to waste 23 years being invisible. By December, exactly 1 year after I'd walked out of Meridian, Hartwell Analytics had 12 employees and 7-figure revenue. And that's when I heard Richard was in trouble. It came through the grapevine mutual connections, former colleagues who'd stayed at Meridian. The Stanton account had collapsed. The projections I'd made hadn't accounted for a major market shift because they'd been for a different fiscal year, but Richard had reused them. Meridian had lost the $2 million contract and gotten sued for misrepresentation. Richard had lost 3 major clients in 6 months. The company was hemorrhaging money. And then I got a call from a business broker. Ms. Hartwell, I represent a firm that might be of interest to you. They're looking for an acquisition, Meridian Marketing. I understand you have history there. I sat very still. How much are they asking? He named a number. It was almost exactly what I had in business assets. I'd like to make an offer, I said. The sale went through in February. Due diligence, lawyers, contracts. It was all very professional. Richard didn't know until the paperwork was finalized. The board made the announcement at a company-wide meeting. I wasn't there for that, but I was there the next day when I walked into the building for the first time as the owner. The receptionist, a new girl who didn't know me, looked up with a bright smile. "Can I help you?" "I'm Janet Hartwell. I'm here to see my office." She checked her computer, confused. "I don't have you down for a meeting." "I own the company." Understanding dawned. Oh my goodness, yes, of course. Let me just..." She fumbled for the phone. "That's all right," I said gently. "I know where I'm going." Richard's office, my office now, was exactly as I remembered. The cherry wood desk, the leather chair, the view of the city that he'd probably never really looked at because he was too busy looking at himself. He was there when I arrived, standing in the middle of the room with a cardboard box in his hands. His face was pale. He'd aged in the past year, more gray in his hair, lines around his mouth. "Janet." "Richard." We stood there for a moment, separated by an expensive rug and 23 years of history. "I didn't know," he said finally. "I didn't know you were the buyer." Would it have mattered? He didn't answer. I walked past him, set my bag down on the desk, my desk, and sat in the chair. It was comfortable, expensive, the kind of chair I'd probably spent 10,000 hours looking at from the other side. "I'm not firing you," I said. He looked up, surprised. "But I am restructuring. You'll be moving to the analytics department, reporting to Maya Chen. She's 24 and brilliant, and she'll teach you everything you need to know about actually doing market research instead of just taking credit for it. Janet, please. Your salary will be adjusted to match the position. $62,000 a year. That's what I made here after 20 years, so it seems fair. I have a mortgage, car payments. Then I suggest you budget carefully." I folded my hands on the desk. "You're welcome to resign, of course, but the severance package won't be generous. Actually, there won't be one at all." He stood there, holding his box, and for the first time in 23 years, I saw him as he really was. Small, not powerful, not untouchable. Just a mediocre man who'd built a career on other people's work. "Why?" he asked quietly. "Why not just fire me, make me suffer?" "Because," I said, "I'm not you." That was 2 years ago. Richard worked at Hartwell Analytics for 6 months before he resigned. I heard he's at a smaller firm now, doing actual client work for the first time in his career. I hope he's learned something. Meridian, now Hartwell Analytics Midwest Division, is thriving. We've tripled revenue. We've won industry awards. We've been named one of the best places to work in Iowa 3 years running. And I sit in that office every day, in that leather chair, looking at that view, and I remember. I remember being 30 and scared. I remember being invisible. I remember the conference room and the word, stupid, and the 20 faces that looked away. But mostly, I remember that I said nothing. I said nothing, and I remembered everything. And I built something better. Outra. If you're listening to this and you see yourself in my story, if you're the woman who stays late, who fixes things, who makes everyone else look good while you fade into the background, I need you to hear this. You are not replaceable. You are not stupid. You are not less than because you've been treated like you are. I spent 23 years believing that my value was determined by whether someone else recognized it. I measured my worth by my paycheck, my title, the scraps of validation thrown my way like treats to a well-behaved dog. But here's what I learned. They were never going to see me. Not really. Because seeing me, acknowledging my contributions, compensating me fairly, treating me like a human being instead of a resource to be exploited, would have meant sharing power. And people who have power rarely give it up willingly. So I stopped waiting for permission. I stopped waiting to be seen. I started building my own light. And you can too. Maybe you can't quit your job tomorrow. Maybe you have bills and responsibilities and 100 legitimate reasons to stay where you are. I understand that. God, I understand that. But you can start. You can take one small step toward reclaiming yourself. Update your resume. Take an online course. Reach out to one connection. Start building something on the side, even if it's just an hour a week. Document everything. Keep records. Know your worth in concrete terms: hours worked, projects completed, money earned for the company. And most importantly, stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never designed for you to grow. You are 50, 60, 70 years old, and you are not done. Your life is not over. Your value didn't expire when you turned 40, or when your kids moved out, or when your hair went gray. You are still here. You still have time. You still matter. The chair, that symbol of power, of recognition, of finally being seen, it was never about the chair itself. It was about knowing that I could sit there, that I'd earned it, that I'd built something on my own terms. You don't need to buy your old company to prove your worth. You don't need grand revenge or dramatic confrontations. You just need to stop accepting less than you deserve. You just need to start believing that you're worth more than how you've been treated. And you need to know that saying nothing, choosing your moment, building your strength, waiting for the right time, that's not weakness. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is remember everything, say nothing, and build something better. That's my story. That's my truth. Now go write yours.